There is a war we all fight, yet no one else sees it. No blood is shed, no banners fly, and yet it rages every day, in silence within us. This war is not against the world, but against the self, against impulse, against fear, against desire and distraction. It is the conflict between who we are and who we are capable of becoming. Victory in this war does not come from overpowering others, but from mastering reaction, mastering restraint, and mastering reason. Ask yourself in any moment of conflict, not to what do I feel, but to what is in my control. You cannot control the wind, but you can set your sail. You cannot prevent what happens, but you can choose your response, and in that choice lies your strength. The world will provoke you, people will offend you, pain will visit you, but none of these are enemies unless you let them breach the walls of your mind. The true battle is within. It is when you are insulted and remain composed. It is when you suffer loss and still give thanks. It is when you face chaos with clarity. That is mastery, not of others, but of the self. We are not here to be slaves to emotion, but to be sculptors of character. Every hardship is an invitation to train, every annoyance a lesson in patience, every setback a forge for resilience. Do not seek comfort. Seek clarity. Do not crave applause. Crave integrity. Do not chase what you cannot keep. Hold fast to what you alone command. Your judgment, your choices, your values. There is no peace in the world without peace within, and peace within comes not from ease but from effort. The disciplined daily effort to rise above the noise, to silence the lies we tell ourselves, and to act not by passion but by principle. This is the inner war. You are already on the battle. Now fight like someone who belongs to themselves. Thank you. There is a war waged within each of us, one that receives no recognition from the world and yet shapes every part of our lives. It is not fought with weapons or on open fields, but in the hidden spaces of the mind and heart. No one else may see it, but everyone lives it. This war is constant, unfolding moment to moment, and it does not end, not with age, not with status, not even with success. The adversary is not some external force or opposing person. It is our own instincts, reactions, and unchecked thoughts. Each day this internal battle begins the moment we wake. We feel the tug of laziness, the whisper of doubt, the pull of craving, and the weight of worry. These are not abstract notions, but real, persistent forces that, left unchallenged, will shape how we think, speak, and act. The fight is not simply about being calm or appearing composed. It is about mastering the part of ourselves that wants to flee from difficulty, chase comfort, seek validation, or react blindly to pain. That part of us is loud, persuasive, and always hungry. This war is unseen because it is silent and solitary. No one else knows the battles you're fighting in your own head. No one hears the argument you have with your anger before you choose to respond with calm. No one sees the effort it takes to get out of bed when despair sits heavily on your chest. No one notices the restraint it takes to hold your tongue when someone provokes you. But these moments are the front lines. These are the clashes that define whether you rule yourself or are ruled by your impulses. What makes this war especially difficult is that the enemy wears your face. It speaks with your voice and justifies itself with your fears. It tells you that you deserve to indulge, that you're right to lash out, that you cannot help but be overwhelmed. It doesn't come at you with brute force. It seduces, it rationalizes, it whispers. That is why many lose before they even realize a battle is happening. They surrender to emotion disguised as truth. They become slaves to moods, unaware that they could have resisted. To live with integrity, then, is to live with constant vigilance. This doesn't mean tension or anxiety, but alertness, an awareness that not every thought is to be believed, not every feeling followed, not every desire pursued. Just as a soldier prepares for battle before the fighting begins, so too must we prepare our minds each day. Through reflection, through discipline, through honesty with ourselves. The goal is not to eliminate emotion or desire, but to recognize them without being mastered by them. It is easy to appear strong when life is comfortable. But when discomfort, insult, rejection, or uncertainty arrive, the truth emerges. Are you governed by your environment or by your principles? This question is answered not once but constantly. Every time we choose between reaction and restraint, between indulgence and discipline, the inner war never truly ends. It only shifts in nature as we grow. But with effort, the voice of reason can grow stronger than the voice of impulse. That strength is not given, it is earned in quiet private victories that no one else may see. Control of the mind is the foundation of inner strength. While much of life lies outside our grasp, what others think, what fortune brings, what the world withholds, our thoughts, our judgments, and our actions belong to us. This is not just a comforting idea. It is a call to arms, because in every moment we are making choices. When someone offends us, we choose how to interpret their words. When disappointment strikes, we choose how to respond. These choices are not always conscious, but they are always ours. And mastery begins with recognizing that fact. The mind is the command center of all we do. If it is undisciplined, everything else falls into chaos. If it is scattered, so too are our words, our emotions, and our decisions. But if the mind is anchored, if it is trained, then no storm can truly shake us. There will still be pain, still be conflict, still be loss, but they will not conquer us. We may feel them, but we will not be ruled by them. The one who governs their mind does not deny emotion, but sees it clearly and refuses to be carried away by it. Control does not mean suppression. It means direction. The mind is not an enemy to be crushed, but a wild force to be harnessed. Our thoughts race, our feelings flare, our desires surge, but we are not these things. We are the ones who can observe them, who can challenge them, who can say, not now, or that's not true, or this is not worth my peace. Every time we choose a rational response over an automatic one, we reclaim a piece of our strength. We step back into command. Life constantly tests this control. We're cut off in traffic, ignored by someone we love, embarrassed in front of others. The instinct is to react, to shout, to sulk, to defend. But the moment we give in to these impulses without examination, we hand over our power. We say, this situation controls me. This person determines how I feel. This moment dictates who I am. The person who has mastered their mind does not fall into this trap. They feel the rising heat of anger, but they do not let it dictate their tone. They experience fear, but they do not retreat from what matters. They face uncertainty, but they do not spiral into panic. To reach this level of control is not easy. It requires daily practice, reflection, silence, intentional action. These are not luxuries, but disciplines. Just as the body is trained with repetition, the mind is trained with awareness. We become stronger not by avoiding stress, but by meeting it with clarity. Each moment of restraint builds our endurance. Each time we resist a lie we tell ourselves, we grow more honest. Each time we pause before acting, we grow more deliberate. No one else can do this for us. Others can guide, inspire, or challenge us, but the work of mastery must be our own. It is deeply personal and often invisible. The mind does not declare its victories loudly. There is no applause when you choose patience over outrage, no trophy for walking away from pointless conflict. But in these quiet moments, control is won, and with it comes freedom, because the one who governs their mind cannot be enslaved by anything outside it. What others think, what fortune gives or takes, what time brings, all of it becomes something to work with, not something to fear. Resilience is not born in moments of ease, but in the fires of adversity. When everything goes according to plan, there is no real test of character. It is only when plans collapse, when hardship strikes, and when the world does not bend to our expectations that we discover what we are made of. Pain is not the enemy many believe it to be, nor is discomfort a punishment. These things are the materials from which strength is built. They break down what is false in us and reveal what is genuine. Insult, loss, rejection, and failure, these are not merely obstacles. They are invitations. Each one asks the same question: who will you be now? When someone mocks you, do you rise in anger or stand in quiet dignity? When something precious is taken, do you fall into despair or stand firm in gratitude for what remains? When your efforts fail, do you crumble or begin again, more aware and less attached? These questions are answered not with words but with conduct. In moments of hardship, our philosophy, our beliefs, and our self-discipline are tested. The answers are revealed not in how we feel, but in what we choose to do. There is a common mistake in thinking that resilience means feeling nothing, but to feel is human. Pain will arrive, sometimes unexpectedly, sometimes with force. Resilience does not deny the pain. It acknowledges it and chooses to continue anyway. It is the quiet voice that says, "This hurts," but it does not define. It is not the absence of emotion, but the refusal to be controlled by emotion. To endure is not to be numb, but to be conscious and still resolute. Adversity strips away illusion. It reveals whether we have placed our security in things beyond our control, status, comfort, praise, wealth, or whether we have rooted ourselves in what is stable, our values, our reason, our inner compass. When fortune turns and everything external falls away, we are left with the only thing we truly own, our character. And if we have built that well, if we have shaped it with care, then no loss can truly harm us. We can be hurt, yes, but not defeated. There is power in viewing hardship as training. Just as the body grows through stress, lifting weight, enduring strain, so does the mind. A difficult person teaches patience. An unexpected setback teaches adaptability. A painful failure teaches humility. None of these are pleasant in the moment, but each is a step toward becoming unshakable. The person who welcomes these trials, who does not curse them but meets them with resolve, grows stronger with each encounter. They do not ask for easier circumstances. They ask to become more capable within the ones they have. This mindset transforms the way we live. We stop running from discomfort. We stop complaining about the inevitable. We begin to see every hardship, large or small, as part of our formation. Life is the arena, and each challenge is a weight added to our training. We lift not for show, but for stability. We endure not for applause, but to become more free from fear and more faithful to principle. Over time, resilience becomes a kind of calm. Not because life gets easier, but because we grow more steady. We learn that pain is survivable, that storms pass, that losses can be borne. And from that understanding comes courage, not the absence of fear, but the presence of something stronger, a will that does not yield. In a world that constantly offers comfort, it is easy to forget the value of struggle. We are surrounded by conveniences, distractions, and endless ways to escape discomfort. The path of least resistance is always the most tempting. But if we always choose ease, we slowly lose our edge. We become soft in mind, weak in spirit, and dependent on things that lie outside our control. Seeking comfort above all else may feel satisfying in the short term, but over time it erodes the very qualities that make us capable, clear-minded, and resilient. Character is not formed in moments of pleasure. It is built in the moments when we are forced to stretch ourselves, to sacrifice, to wait, to endure. The person who chooses discomfort when it leads to growth is the one who develops real power. While others avoid hard truths, they face them. While others indulge, they hold back. While others complain, they act. This discipline of choosing what is right over what is easy is the foundation of strength. And that strength, unlike comfort, cannot be taken away by fortune, failure, or the passing of time. We often admire people who show courage, restraint, and wisdom, but rarely do we ask what it cost them to get there. It costs effort, sacrifice, and the willingness to be uncomfortable. A person does not become just or calm or courageous by accident. These traits are forged deliberately. Each time they choose to stand firm in discomfort, they leave behind a little more of what is petty, reactive, or weak. They gain something far more valuable than comfort. They gain clarity, depth, and self-respect. The pursuit of comfort can also be deceptive. It can disguise itself as peace or happiness, but beneath it there is often stagnation. A life built entirely around ease becomes fragile. The slightest hardship shakes it. The smallest obstacle becomes a crisis. When we avoid anything that challenges us, we also avoid the opportunity to grow. Comfort asks for nothing and therefore gives nothing of lasting worth. Character demands everything, and in return, it gives us the only thing that truly belongs to us, ourselves. The pursuit of character means holding ourselves to a standard even when no one is watching. It means saying no to what is tempting but unworthy. It means staying silent when gossip tempts the tongue, working hard when no praise will come, being honest when a lie would be easier. These are not grand gestures but small, repeated acts of integrity. They are uncomfortable. They are not always rewarded, but over time they shape a life that is solid, meaningful, and unshaken by external events. There is nothing wrong with enjoying comfort when it comes. The problem lies in needing it. The one who must be entertained, validated, or indulged to feel at peace is not free. They are dependent on conditions that cannot be guaranteed. But the one who is at peace with discomfort, who can be steady without reward, who does what is right without needing to feel good, that person is free. They are not trapped by their cravings or their fears. They do not require the world to cooperate in order to live well. When we pursue character, we are not rejecting pleasure. We are simply putting it in its rightful place, secondary to purpose, to virtue, to truth. We understand that real satisfaction comes not from indulgence, but from discipline. Not from being served, but from serving a higher standard. In this way we become not just people who feel good in the moment, but people who live in a way that brings quiet pride, lasting peace, and unshakable self-respect. Peace is often imagined as the absence of trouble, a quiet life without interruption, conflict, or pain. But such peace is fragile because it depends entirely on things beyond our control. The world will not stop spinning because we seek stillness. People will not always act with kindness. Circumstances will not always align with our hopes. If our sense of peace relies on everything going our way, it will be as unstable as the conditions around us. True peace does not come from the outside. It is cultivated within. To build peace within is to accept that the external world is chaotic, uncertain, and often unfair. It is to stop demanding that life be a certain way before we allow ourselves to feel calm. The person who needs everyone to agree with them, who requires perfect health, ideal weather, financial security, or constant approval in order to remain composed, is not at peace. They are held hostage by the world's ever-changing nature. They may find temporary relief, but they will live in fear of its loss. Real peace does not fear change because it is rooted in something deeper than circumstances. The foundation of inner peace is self-command. It is the discipline to govern one's own thoughts, to respond instead of react, to observe emotion without being consumed by it. When insulted, the peaceful person does not rage. When disappointed, they do not despair. They feel the sting of emotion, but they do not surrender to it. Their stillness is not the stillness of denial, but the stillness of awareness. They are present with what is, without needing to escape or resist. This kind of peace is not passive. It is a conscious choice moment by moment. Cultivating inner peace begins with recognizing how little we truly control. We cannot control how others treat us. We cannot control the outcome of every effort. We cannot control illness, aging, loss, or time. What we can control is our interpretation, our response, our focus. By returning our attention to what lies within our sphere of influence, we regain our balance. When we let go of the need to change what we cannot change, we free ourselves from a burden we were never meant to carry. The mind that seeks peace must also be trained to face discomfort. Avoiding all that is unpleasant is not the path to serenity. It is the path to fragility. If every difficulty unsettles us, then our peace is But if we train ourselves to sit with discomfort, to endure hardship without bitterness, and to move through life without demanding perfection, we begin to build real strength. Peace is not what happens when life gives us rest. It is what remains when life gives us trials and we remain centered anyway. Gratitude plays a central role in this process. The peaceful person does not need life to be ideal in order to be thankful. They find meaning in what remains, even in loss. They appreciate the smallest moments of beauty, even in suffering. This attitude is not naive, it is wise. It sees that nothing is guaranteed and yet everything is a gift. From this perspective, every day becomes enough, not because it is perfect, but because it is ours to live with presence and intention. Another key to inner peace is detachment, not from people or values, but from outcomes. When we do our best and release the need to control how things unfold, we lessen the grip of anxiety. When we speak truth without needing to be understood, when we act justly without expecting praise, when we offer love without demanding return, we place our peace not in the result, but in the act itself. This shift changes everything. We no longer chase control. We live with integrity, and we rest in the knowledge that our peace cannot be taken by what we do not own. To live by principle and not by passion is to take command of one's own life. It is to be led by what is chosen, not what is felt in the heat of the moment. Passion in this sense does not mean purpose or devotion, but the raw, ungoverned impulses that rise and fall without warning. Anger, envy, fear, desire, pride. These are not inherently wrong, but when allowed to steer our decisions, they make us reactive, unstable, and easily manipulated. A person ruled by passion is a servant to circumstance. They go where their emotions push them, often at the cost of their integrity, their peace, and their long-term good. Principles, on the other hand, are steady. They are not moved by the noise of the day or the mood of the moment. They are chosen with care and held with discipline. To live by principle is to decide in advance what kind of person one will be: honest, just, disciplined, compassionate, and then to live according to that standard, regardless of how one feels at any given time. This is not easy. It means often doing what is uncomfortable, what goes against the grain of impulse. But it is precisely in these difficult moments that strength is forged. The person who lives by principle can be trusted by others and by themselves. They are not perfect, but they are consistent. They do not lash out in anger and then blame others. They do not abandon what is right simply because it is inconvenient. They do not flatter when it serves them or lie when the truth costs something. They know what they value, and they stay loyal to those values. This loyalty is not rigidness. It is clarity. It gives them a compass to follow in times of confusion. When passions flare, they have something stronger to guide them. Living this way demands awareness. One must be constantly watching their own mind, questioning their motives, asking, is this action in line with my principles, or am I simply reacting to how I feel? This self-examination is not about guilt or shame. It is about responsibility. The person of principle does not pretend to be free from emotion. They simply refuse to let emotion take the wheel. They respect the power of feeling, but they do not kneel to it. In the world, there are many forces that encourage us to follow passion. Anger is praised as strength. Indulgence is called freedom. Immediate reaction is seen as authenticity, but there is nothing strong or free about being pulled in every direction by fleeting emotions. True freedom is choosing how to act, not being a prisoner to emotional impulse. The person who lives by principle chooses their response. They are not frozen or unfeeling. They are deliberate. There is a deep dignity in this way of living. It allows one to face hardship without losing their center. It allows one to walk through praise and criticism alike with the same steady posture. It creates a life that is not scattered but whole. Others may not always understand this way of being. They may expect reaction, drama, and emotional chaos. But the principled person brings something different. Calm in the storm, stillness in the noise, truth in a world full of performance. Over time, this consistency builds trust, not only with others, but within the self. There is no need to second-guess every action, no regret for words spoken in haste, no confusion about what one stands for. Decisions may still be difficult, but the framework is clear. When passion screams, principle whispers, and in that whisper is the strength to choose wisely, to act with honor, and to walk a path that remains straight even when the ground beneath it shifts. So choose mastery over chaos. Choose the path that demands effort, discipline, and courage. The war within you is not meant to break you. It is meant to reveal you. Each moment you choose stillness over impulse, principle over passion, clarity over confusion. You reclaim yourself, and in that quiet victory, unseen by the world, you become truly free.